Hello, my name is Andy Gorman. I'm a software engineer at Apace Systems, and today I will be demoing PostMAM, our media asset management software. The software is web-based. As you can see, I'm in Google Chrome, and I've entered the address of the Apace storage, and then a login screen appears. I'm going to log in as PM admin. Once you're logged in, you'll be presented with this screen. On the left-hand side, we have a view of the assets, and we also have a file browser view. The asset view is for assets that have already been imported into PostMAM, and we have the ability to do things like generate thumbnails. If you mouse over you'll get a slideshow, and we also generate proxies for web playback. The asset view is also where you'll be doing your metadata searching. So up at the top here, I could do a search for Chris, for example, and it's going to come back and it's going to tell you which searches matched that keyword. So here I'm matching Chris as the producer for all of these clips. The second view is the file browser view. This is where you're going to be able to see workspaces on the Apace storage. We also have the ability to show workspaces on other storage. So if you have multiple storage systems from Apace, or if you have third-party storage, you can see your files and folders here and we can index them for you. Once you look at a workspace you want to look at, you just double click on it, and here's where you'll see the files and folders in that workspace, and you can make some decisions about which files or folders you want to import into the MAM. Now, we're not like other MAM vendors where it's a black box, where you give them a file and that file goes somewhere and you don't know where it is and you have to check it out from them. What we do is we just index your files in place. So you keep your files and folders exactly as they are on disk, and we'll just come in and index them based on which files you want imported into the MAM. We also have technology to relink those files. So if those files move or if they're renamed, we will nightly go through, scan, and find where those files have moved and relink them within the MAM. And this could be across storage as well, or even on storage that is non-Apace storage. We also, if a file's been deleted and we can't find it, we will just mark it as offline to know that, hey, you can still play back the file in the MAM, you can still edit metadata, you can still look at the comments, but you just can't go and grab that file because it's no longer on disk. Now, if we head back to the asset search, what I can do here is choose a clip I'm interested in playing back, and I can just double click on it. And it's going to open over here in the right-hand side in its own tab. And this is where I can play back that clip. So on this screen, I have the ability also, besides playback, to make comments. To make a comment, I would click this add button here, and I have the ability to make three kinds of comments. I can make a comment based on the entire clip. I can make a comment based on the time code, where it's paused right now, or I can make a frame comment. And if I click this button, it's going to generate a picture of the frame I'm currently looking at. And here I can use some simple drawing tools to show the person looking at the comment exactly where I'm talking about within that frame. So really what we're talking about here is 3 levels of granularity: entire clip, a time code, or a specific region within a time code. And here I can say, make an edit. And now my comment's saved. Also, these comments if I click on these comments, they will jump, if they're timecode related, they'll jump to where that comment was made within the clip. So the next tab here is called Custom Metadata, and this is where we can edit the metadata for this clip. So we have 3 kinds of metadata. We have text fields, and here I can just enter any text I want. We have checklists, where you can select multiple values from a list of values. And we have drop-down boxes, where you can select a single value from a list of values. And as soon as you edit this metadata, it'll become available within the search. Now, this metadata is completely customizable. So if I'm an administrator, I'll have access to this tab here. And when I click in, I can see the first sub-tab is called schemas, which is our fancy way of saying a set of metadata attributes. So I'm going to go into our sample schema here. And this is where, if you wanted to, you could edit metadata. So here I could add a new attribute, and I could call this demo123, for example. So that's my attribute name, and you can give it a type. So here's where you choose, is it text, is it a drop-down box, or is it a checklist? Now, if it's one of these check types, let's make it a combo box, you can add list values. So here's where you'll add the values that will show up in those lists. So I could say, value 1, value 2, and so on. And if I come back into my clip, I can now refresh, and we see that I have our demo 1, 2, 3 attribute here, and it's got a drop down with value 1 and value 2. And I can save that down, and I can do a search for that. So I can say value 2, and it comes back and matches my search. Now, what we're trying to do with the MAM is add as much automation as we can. We know that it can be a lot of work to enter in metadata by hand. So one of the ways we're trying to do that is by using this auto pull. And the general idea here is that you already have in the clip's header a bunch of metadata. For example, if I go back to my clip here and I click on clip metadata, this is all of the data that we're automatically pulling out of that clip. And what auto pull allows you to do is say, take something from that metadata and map it into one of my attributes. So as soon as I apply this schema to a clip, that data will automatically be pulled. And if I go back in and go back to metadata and reapply this schema, we can see that it already pulls these 4 auto pull values: codec, file name, file size, and frame rate, just like I have here set up for auto pull. The second way we're trying to do automation in the system is called templates, and that is also the second tab under administration. So here I have the ability to add a template, and I'm just going to call it demo, and we're going to use our sample schema. Now, the idea behind a template is that, let's say you have someone coming back from a shoot and they have 100 clips and they want to put them all in the MAM, and you know certain things about those clips. You know where the shoot took place, the location. You know who did the shoot. You know who was involved. You know the producer. You know the project this is on. You don't want to go and type those things 100 times for each clip. So what you can do is you just create a template, and when you go into a template, it looks just like you're entering metadata for a single clip. So here we can add a producer. Say we know it's Chris. Say we know our location is Orange, California, and maybe we know our genre is an action adventure. So we have that, and we save our template. Now we can go back into our clip and we can apply that template down. And apply our demo template, save it, and we see that that metadata becomes instantly searchable. I don't have to type it in. I type it once and I can apply it to many clips. The third level of automation we have in the system is called sequences. If I go back to administration, I can click on the sequences tab here, and this is where we get into customizable workflow. So everything you do in the MAM is a task. It's a little unit of work you want to do with a clip. And if I right click, I can see I have this execute task tab. And in here, I have all of these little tasks I can do. So we have things like apply a schema to a clip or apply a template. We can create proxies, so I can create a video proxy or image proxy for this. We also have things like send this asset to an FTP or a bin. A bin is a way we could do integration with things like Telestream or Aspera, or really any other system that uses a watch folder. We have Brightcove integration for staging your clips. We have Storage DNA and Zendata integration for tape backups. We could say, send this clip off to tape. We'll mark it as being on tape. You could delete it from the local storage. You could still play back the proxy, and then anytime you wanted, you could say, okay, cool, bring this thing back from tape, and we'll bring it back automatically for you. So we have all of these little units of work that are possible within the MAM. Now, what a sequence does is it allows you to put those things back to back and run them as one unit of work. So I'm going to go into our import sequence here. On the right hand side, we can see here all of the tasks we have available within the system. And on the left hand side, we have our sequence, and it's going to run top to bottom. So this import sequence takes a file off the file system. It does an import, and then it's going to try and create an image proxy and a thumbnail if it's an image, an audio proxy if it's an audio file, and video thumbnails and a video proxy if it's a video file. Now what this allows you to do is say, okay, here's the bit rates at which I want to create my proxies. Now maybe you are using the asset management on LAN, so you could create larger quality bit rate. Or maybe you're using it for people to come out from the outside and you want lower quality. So what I could do is I could say, okay, I have this fairly low quality proxy being created. Maybe I want to create a higher quality proxy as well. So I could add a new video proxy task. I just drag and drop it in, and I could call this HQ for high quality. And let's say I want it to be 5 megabits, maybe 192K audio, and let's make it 720p. And I can save that down, and now I've just added another task into my sequence, and I'm going to create 2 audio proxies, when I run this task. Maybe I also want to say, okay, also apply our sample schema and our demo template that we created. So I'm building out this workflow. So now what's going to happen is when I run this, I'm going to import a clip into PostMAM. I'm going to create proxies, the proxies that I want, so a high quality video and a low quality video that the user can choose. I'm going to apply a schema, which is going to also do those auto pulls and add metadata. And I'm going to apply a template, which is going to add our metadata. And this is all with one click. So now what I can do is go up to my file browser and find a clip that I want to run this sequence on. So I'll just go into my videos, and in here, okay. So we're going to run our import sequence on this clip. And I just right click, go to execute sequence, and import. Click yes, and it's going to get added into our job queue. Now, it runs as one job. If I click on it, down below, I can see here all the steps that this job is going to take when it runs. So we can already see that it's been imported. I've created my thumbnails, and now I'm working on the first video proxy. And if I just double click on the job, it's going to take me right to that clip. And I can open this clip up, and I can see that, okay, no proxies are available. So we just have to wait until this first one is done transcoding before we can watch. Alright, and our job is done. So now I can go back into my clip here and refresh it. And we see that we have our proxy playing back. And we have a standard and our high quality proxy that we can choose from. Also, if we go into our custom metadata, we can see that I already have metadata entered for this clip. So we have our 4 auto pulls as well as our template applied. The fourth level of automation is a way to batch process all of these things that we've seen. So if I head back to the administration tab, I have these 2 tabs here, watch folders and scheduled scans. What a watch folder allows you to do is create a folder on the file system where when you drop files in, it triggers some action. In this case, it's going to trigger a sequence of your choice. So we could pick our import sequence that we've been using. So you choose a folder and you choose a destination folder. As soon as you drop a file into that folder, it's going to move to your destination, and then it's going to run your sequence on it. So again, you could have someone coming back from a shoot with 100 clips. If you've created a watch folder for them and a sequence to attach to it, all they have to do is drop all those clips in that one folder, and for each clip it's going to run the import sequence. So it's going to import the file, create the proxies you specified, add the metadata you specified through auto pull and templates. If you don't want to do watch folders, you could do scheduled scans. And the benefit of the scheduled scan is that this guy doesn't have to use a watch folder. He could just organize your media any way you're already used to organizing it, and you can choose a folder to just scan at some interval. So here, let's choose our videos folder. For any files I find during that scan, I'm going to run my import sequence. And then I choose a schedule. So I could say, starting today at 1 a.m. on a daily basis, I want to scan this folder. And I can choose some filters. So I could say, I only want to scan MOV files, or I don't want to scan AVIs, things like that. And then you have some options here. So I'm only going to find media files. I'm going to skip files that have already been imported. And for this case, I want to scan our subfolders, meaning any folders within this folder, I just want to go down and do the whole hierarchy. And I can apply that scan. So now every day at 1 a.m., every new media file in this folder that I find, I'm going to import, again, proxies and metadata are auto-applied. So now, you just organize your media the way you always have been, and you're constantly getting the new media that we find imported and into the MAM with the sequence that you're interested in. Now these sequences don't necessarily have to be just for proxies and metadata. I could also say send it to Zendata, or send it to storage DNA, or send it to some FTP somewhere. So you have a lot of power in manipulating these sequences. So now that we're done with the automations, the next feature I want to show of the MAM is called channels. And if I click up here, I'm able to create channels. And what a channel is essentially a shared playlist where you can say, here's the clips that are going to go in this channel, and then you can give someone a login to the MAM where they can only see the channels they have access to for playback and comment. And a lot of times this is used for review. So if you have some clips you're working on for a customer or a producer, you can throw them in a channel, they can log in, they don't get access to the whole MAM, they just get access to look at those clips and play them back. So let's use our demo channel here. I'm going to go ahead and open this channel up, and I'm going to remove the clips that are already in it, and we're going to add some new clips. So I'm just going to pick a few clips. It could be audio, video, or image, and I'm going to drag and drop those clips into the channel. And if I go back up, I can see the public user has access to this channel. But you can create as many of these channel users as you like, and you can give different users access to different channels. So I'm going to go ahead and log out. And here I can log in as that public user with their username and password. So you may give this address and username and password to a client. They log in, and they just go to this channels page. So they can go and view their demo channel. And here they can play back their clips. They can cycle through the clips, and they can add clip or timecode level comments. And the comments they add, say they say great clip, the comments they add are only visible to the channel user. Meaning if I had internal comments about this clip between the editors, they would not show up here. So comments for channels are kind of in their own area. Alright, and now I can head back into the full MAM. And I'm going to log back in as my PM admin user. So beyond these simple searches that I showed, we also have the ability to do custom searching. And this is a full Boolean search. So here I can choose from a number of different attributes, like the duration of the clip, or what directory is that clip in, what's the file name, what's the file size, what type of clip is it. So for example, I could say, cool, I only want to search for videos, and I can execute that search and only videos come back. And then I can say, okay, but I only want to make sure that the duration of that video is greater than at least 1 minute. And I can execute that search, and those clips come back. And I can keep adding these search terms in that say this and this and this. So I could say, okay, and it was imported before February 5th, let's say. I can execute that search. And I can keep adding these in. You can also add a new group, and the groups, well, they're and internally. So MIME type, video and greater than 1 minute and before this date. The search groups are OR'd together. So I could say, or, I'd like to see audio files. I could execute this search, and I'm going to get the audio files, or this stuff. So after you're happy with a search, what you can do is you can actually save that search. So I can call this, our demo search, for example. And now our search is saved. Later on, I can come up here, and there's a little drop down next to this, and I can go find it. Cool, here's our demo search, and I can just recall it instantly. You can also come in here into our search manager, and you can rebuild the whole demo search by loading it. And then you can say, okay, I really don't want these audio, and just modify it and execute the search again. So the custom search is very powerful. The last thing I want to show you are the other kinds of views on the media. I can actually just expand this panel out, and it turns into these columns. And here I can do things like, okay, I just want to sort these things based on the duration, or file size, or resolution. You can move these columns around. You can enable or disable the columns to show what you want to see. So it's very versatile in how you want to display these things. And then if you're done, you can just drag it back over and you're back to this smaller view. And that's been a overview of the PostMAM Media Asset Management System. Thank you.